Oh! That just turned on.
Water.
No way. Give us a show. Holy shit!
What is up, everybody? Paranormal Roads is back with another video, another episode for you guys to enjoy. This time with another equipment review. It's really cold up here in the Northeast. Also, schedule really tight. That's kind of why I did the first equipment review, was everything was really tight. But I still figured, hey, I got an opportunity to film. Of course, I filmed that at 1 in the morning, so busy week, filming at 1 in the morning, dead tired. I do apologize, I was kind of running on fumes. And before we begin, I just want to say thank you all for everyone who's been watching, who's been supporting me. We are almost at 500 subscribers. That is awesome. I did not expect to get here. So getting to 500 is already, it's a huge milestone for me. If we can get to 500 subscribers by the end of the month, I will return to one of the most haunted asylums in the US, back to Penhurst Asylum.
What the?
You heard that? What the? That was heavy.
Dude, what the?
If you can talk. Oh! If you haven't seen my video on it, go ahead, check the link out in the description and in a comment below. I will leave it in a comment as well for you guys. They have a building that I haven't gone into. It's an extra spot. We're like, you know, that sounds way out of our league. 500 subscribers by the end of the month, it'll be in my league. That's what I say. People reported being scratched. People having things thrown at them, being sworn and cussed at over the spirit box. You are either liked or you are hated. I will go in there alone. I will do a solo investigation just for you guys. Maybe I'll be in tears. Maybe, you know, maybe you'll see something crazy and I'm gonna need psychiatric help. If that is something that interests you, please like, favorite, share, and subscribe, and we will get back there as soon as the weather turns. We are going to start off here with the SB11. Now, as you can see here, look at the size of that thing, guys. Alright, that is one hell of a chonker for a spirit box. First thing right off the bat is it's got 2 channels. That's because it has 2 radios built into this thing. It has a temperature, it has a light built into the front. You can switch it from different modes. It's crazy. This thing is a brick. Listen. You whip this bad boy out, you're gonna turn some heads, you know, it's a big piece. However, the great thing about this piece is that it is proof that it is not size that matters, it's how you use it. I can only really describe it as an attempt at a Swiss Army knife. It does not need to do everything that it is set to do. And frankly, I think it suffers from that because it doesn't do any of it particularly well. I've tried to do the Estes method with this thing. You'll plug it in and you've got one channel to flip through. The other channel is still blaring for everyone to hear around you. So you have to set one to be quiet and set the other to be loud so that you can hear. The main, I suppose, draw is if you're just using it as a regular spirit box, you can have one channel flipping forwards and the other channel flipping backwards so you can get that sort of variance going. As you can see right here, you can actually have it set up so that you can do what I can only assume to be a double Estes method, which would be pretty handy. You don't need 2 like SB7s, for instance. This thing is just disappointment. Like I said, you'll turn some heads and then you will basically disappoint everyone like your father disappointed your mother. The big selling point really is just the fact that there are 2 radios that you can use. This thing just makes it all convoluted and it kind of just gives you a headache. This guy right here costs just as much as this guy. You go on Amazon to get an SB11, it's going to cost you about 190 bucks for that. I can't justify $190 for that when I would much rather have a second REM pod, if I'm being honest. This device right here is going to get a very disappointing 3 inches out of 10. I'm really rolling out the jokes with this one here, guys. You know what the old saying goes.
Comedy comes in threes.
Thank you, Rick. So I will say with the SB11, I don't have a whole lot to share with you like I have with the other devices. I just replaced it that quickly. I think I used it maybe for like my first video, maybe first 2 or 3, but I was done with it. I said, you know what, I'm getting the SB7 and we're getting rid of this thing. I'll hold on to it because, you know, it's almost $200. I did say that, you know, I would be going over some pieces that, you know, have some controversy around them, and this is it, guys. This is probably the main one here. Have you seen any of the skeptics or the debunkers? They've pretty much shredded this thing. I've listened to their explanations, and I'll let the evidence speak for itself. Something about taking your balls, Alex.
You're not able to touch me.
Right, then the left.
Right, then the left. You talking about the flashlights? Is that the order you're turning them off?
I just got a high soprano. Oh!
Okay, the right
Come
flashlight,
down.
and then the left flashlight.
I'm gonna be real. I fully believe that what I got in that instance was real. That's too much to be a coincidence for me. I've gotten a lot with these, with the Maglights. Granted, I don't use them anymore on the channel. It was told to me in a comment, someone saying, hey, don't use these, you've been debunked. Everything else you're doing is pretty great, but this is gonna hurt you. I follow that advice. I wanna be putting forward the truth. I don't want, you know, it's very much, this is a very reputation-based field, essentially. You are either putting forward evidence or you're making evidence, which is bad. My general understanding of their explanation of how this works is essentially the way that you do it. Obviously, you know, Maglight, you twist, you find that happy middle ground where it's gonna, you know, connect, sort of, kind of. And then, you know, it's close enough to touch, basically. But also, it doesn't touch. Their explanation is that it's just barely touching, but due to temperature changes, the conductors, or the, you know, the pieces that touch one another, expand, which allows the energy to flow through. The flashlight lights up. However, then it cools down, which separates the pieces, and then it just makes a feedback loop of it cooling off, or heating up and cooling off, heating up, cooling off. What doesn't sit with me with that explanation is that if there's a connection and energy is flowing through it, energy, you know, energy produces heat. If energy is flowing through two pieces of metal, that's going to keep those pieces of metal hot. It's going to keep those pieces that are barely touching hot and expanded. That light's going to stay on. At least that's my understanding of everything. If anyone knows more about physics than I do, please step in. Either explain to me how that explanation actually works or how it's actually wrong. I would love to hear it. I'm just trying to be the best investigator that I can be. I go out, I find evidence with all these devices, with all of these tools that I have, and I just try and, you know, and I bring whatever I find to you guys onto YouTube. So, like I said in the last video, I've got the slow investigations, I've got the ones that pop off. I share them all with you guys. If the debunkers are right, then, you know, I'm absolutely giving these a 0 out of 10 if the debunkers are right. But as of right now, I'm leaning more towards a 3 out of 10 because I've gotten some great, evidence with them. However, as an investigator, I need to focus on bringing clean evidence, just like actual evidence to the viewers. So that's why I would give these guys a 3 out of 10. These guys are cheap. I think they're like $10 on Amazon. That's why I have 2 of them. I was like, $20, perfect. I can have yes/no conversation. I can get these things flipping back and forth. It's crazy. If they are actually debunked, if someone who's actually a lot smarter than I am comes forward and explains like, hey, this is why it's bunk, then 0 out of 10, don't go near them. Don't even look in their direction. Actually, you know what? That is one actual practical use out of these. If all of your lights go out, you still got these to find your way. But I'll be honest. That's gonna suck. That's gonna be a horrible walk in the dark with just that going for you. You're gonna get a lot of looks if you pull these out in an investigation nowadays, which I think is why I haven't seen anyone using these in the past like year or so that this has come out. Avoid these for now. Save yourself the 10, 20 bucks, get yourself an EMF detector. Final device for the video, and that's gonna be this bad boy right here. Now this is the dead bell. I found out about this about, I want to say, back in June of last year, and I saw it in action. I thought, this is insane. I need to get myself one of these, and I jumped on that immediately. I was like, this is my birthday present. I'm taking it. It's mine. So this guy right here is going to cost you about 200 bucks on GoStop. That's actually where I got a lot of my equipment. I've gotten some equipment from, I've gotten a good portion of my equipment on Amazon. For the more like pricey things, for stuff like this, you go to GoStop. The only thing I have to say is with this actually, so you have the sensitivity, which is just a knob. Well, it starts off on high. When you twist it on, it's going to go to the high setting, so it should be really, really sensitive. Well, they swapped my the sensitivity in this thing. It was swapped, so actually high is low and low is high. I didn't realize that until, you know, a couple investigations through, and for some reason it just wasn't working. I actually had some friends who got a dead bell themselves. It was actually a trip to the Queen's Fort where we put both our dead bells out. Their dead bell was going crazy. My dead bell was nothing. Like maybe something would happen. But I thought, all right, before I try and send this back and, you know, what's going on, can I get a refund, can I get a replacement, that sort of thing, I said, let me try something. And I actually swapped it to all the way to low, and this thing was going crazy, guys. I mean, seriously, they could not stop ringing. It was just non-stop crazy, kind of like this. I've been using it ever since, and I love the sound. I mean, you're in anywhere, whether it's in the woods, whether it's in an abandoned spot, or, you know, an old, you know, some old building. You hear that going off. First of all, it's creepy, but it's also really, really cool. If this thing can go off in the middle of the woods, it's an EMF detector, essentially, and it's like there's nothing to mess with out in the woods, right? So why is it going crazy? And I'll show you guys a couple of clips with the dead bell now. Are you okay with communicating with us? Sweet. Gonna need, it's gotta be really quick. Okay, so that's a no. That would be a no. So you don't wanna talk. As I introduced to the people that will be watching this, the story about the old man and his grandson, did that happen? So you remember
Right here, because that's... There we go.
Hi. Is this Sarah? Because you give me 2 dings, or I'm sorry, 1 ding for yes, 2 dings for no. Hi, Sarah. I like it. It's great. First of all, it brings great aesthetic, and for whatever reason, it seems to really draw them. Maybe it's just, you know, like, it's not just like, oh, look at me light something up. It's, hey, I'm making a noise. It's almost like I'm physically ringing the bell. I think that might be, it's easy, one of the easiest, if not the easiest thing I've seen for them to interact with, which is great. However, one caveat, it's way too sensitive. It is way too sensitive. Seriously, there are investigations where I've been trying to get any kind of like yes no's going, and it just starts going off like this. I think the sensitivity setting could be altered better. I think it could be handled better. If they come out with a dead bell 2, where instead of, you know, trying to make it also detect temperature and act as a radio and a flashlight, and it can walk, you know, I'm still talking mad shit, about the SP11. I'm sorry. With the shortcomings of this, which is mostly the sensitivity, it's hard to communicate sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, and you really have to try and either tune the sensitivity well yourself, which, you know, eventually you're probably gonna just end up setting it to a higher setting. I'm gonna give it, for now, a 6 out of 10. It's a good piece, you know. It's about as expensive as an SB11. You're going to get way more mileage and use out of it than an SB11 for about the same price at $199, about $200. But that is going to wrap it up. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, favorite, share, subscribe. We are almost to 500 subscribers. That's awesome. Please, I think we're 20 off by making this video, so please go ahead and subscribe. It's going to help the channel out a lot. If we can get to 500 subscribers by the end of the month, then I will return to one of the most haunted asylums in the country. That's right, I'm going to go back to Pennhurst Asylum, and I will do a solo investigation in the most haunted, the most violent, historically, building on that campus. I wonder what it's going to be like in that building. Well, maybe we can find out if we can get to 500 subscribers by the time February is over, guys. It's just the beginning of the month. I think we can do that rather quickly. So, I will be more than happy to go back to Pennhurst and to face that building and share it with all of you guys. So, wish me luck, and thank you all again. Seriously, I am very excited to see 500 for the channel and to, again, bring more content to you guys. So thank you all for watching once more, and have a great one.